America's News. Today we have a special report on the state of Nicaragua. Over the past few years, many political leaders and political analysts have debated whether or not Nicaragua is in fact a failed state. Well, today on the America's News, we are giving the final verdict that Nicaragua is a failed state. Today we'll be using several different failed state indicators which describe factors such as demographic pressures to chronic sustained human flight. Using these indicators, we will describe how Nicaragua is a failed state. The first reason why Nicaragua is a failed state is because of the demographic pressures indicator. This indicator describes the dependency load and the overpopulation of a failed state. In Nicaragua, the population of 0 to 14 years old makes up 31.7% of their population. This means that a third of the country, approximately, requires education and cannot support the Nicaraguan society and cannot work for them. This is a huge problem in Nicaragua. As well, we see that the average age of someone living in Nicaragua is 22.9 years old, 22.1 in male and 23.7 in female. This is also very, very young. We now go live to co-anchor Jack Greenwood, who is in our Nicaragua studio.
Thank you, Andrew. The second failed state indicator is legacy of vengeance-seeking group grievance. This means that people are seeking revenge for past injustices. Nicaragua's history includes a past civil war during the 1960s and 70s, in which the Somoza regime murdered a lot of its own civilians, and a lot of civilians disappeared. During this time period, there were high levels of political and demographic instability. The third failed state indicator is chronic sustained human flight. A major factor of this is the brain drain, in which a bunch of intellectuals leave the country. The byproduct of this in Nicaragua is that the workforce is very poorly educated. More than 800,000 Nicaraguans left the country between 1990 and 2005. Locals suggest that the majority of them left due to a lack of economic stability. Obviously, if they were smart enough to get out of this bad, failed state, Nicaragua, they are highly educated. This could have contributed to the lower educated workforce that Nicaragua has. Marcos Carmona, head of the Non-Governmental Commission on Human Rights, says that citizens immigrated from Nicaragua for two main reasons. The first being poverty due to the Civil War, and the second being that the citizens felt that the government economic policies were flawed, as they were too focused heavily on meeting obligations of multilateral lenders.
The fourth indicator is uneven economic development over group lines. In Nicaragua, although almost all citizens live in poverty, those who have money have all of it. Nicaragua has the second lowest GDP per capita in the Americas at only $2,698. Nicaragua is second overall in percent undernourished at 27% as well.
The sixth failed state indicator is sharp and severe economic decline. The Nicaraguan economy has seen a decrease in imports, exports, and remittances. Exports fell by 9% in 2009, and their exports to the U.S. went down dramatically, which is a major problem, as a large facet of the Nicaraguan economy is manufacturing and exporting. Unemployment has become a major problem, with the increase of workers only increasing by 1%, whereas in years past it was 9%. The GDP is expected to decrease by roughly 2 to 3.5%, with foreign investment down for the first time in 6 years. Investment in free trade zones went down by 39 million. These negative trends are likely to continue.
The sixth indicator is criminalization and/or delegitimization of the state. This is evident in Nicaragua through the current government being run by Daniel Ortega. Daniel Ortega is Nicaragua's president and is known for repeatedly changing the constitution and breaking Nicaragua's own laws in order for him to run again in elections and rig elections. He runs a de facto government. Nicaragua's government is the 9th overall and most corrupt governments in the world. Perhaps the most evident indicator in Nicaragua is the progressive deterioration of public services. Nicaragua is ranked 3rd in the Americas with an HDI of 0.584 and has a literacy rate of 67.5. In Nicaragua, only 57% of the urban population have access to sanitation, and under 80% of the people have access to water. There is only one hospital bed per 1,000 people. The Nicaraguan government is ranked in the top 10 worldwide in government ineffectiveness.
Nicaragua's corrupt government also represents the indicator of a security apparatus as a state within a state. In Nicaragua, most people feel unsafe. As well, 13% feel confident voicing concerns to the government, and only 31% are confident in elections.
The final indicator of Nicaragua is rise of factionalized elites. Like many Central American countries, drug trafficking and cartels are an issue in Nicaragua, where one is one of the worst examples. This affects the people as well as the corrupt government.